Well, this is an interesting video. So I'm back to making content here, for now that I'm a little bit healed up. And Chainsaw Man's coming back. So Red will be joining in a little bit after his girlfriend leaves for work. Didn't want to interrupt his nightly ritual with her. But right now, Luke and I are going to take the stage with this because it's in Chainsaw Man, and this has like been the bread and butter of the channel for a long time. So, the biggest thing for the direction of this video, because we have a little bit more planned out than a traditional modcast, you can see it over here because Discord has a new feature, and I want to use it. Because I personally, especially late at night, have a tendency to ramble, and it's 2 a.m. where Luke's at.
Yeah, which might seem like a bit of a late time, but sometimes I usually tend to do my Mission Yozakura reviews at this time, so it's all good for me.
Yeah. But also, I live with a roommate, so I don't want to keep them up either. So, yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm down in the basement, so nobody's gonna hear anything.
You got lucky. I'm on the 3rd floor, so if I scream a little bit too loud, I got all the neighbors below me hating my guts. So, there's been a weird timeline, right? So, it's the last chapter of the series, the first part of the series, was in December of 2020. And we did like a predictions video for like the part 2 back then. But we've had time to kind of mull over the Fujimoto expanded universe as well. It's weird to call it that, but it seems like he has a common theme going through all of his stuff. He has that love for film and cinema. He has that love for ripping your fucking heart out at every turn. And
I was gonna say he has a love for traumatizing people.
And the biggest one is it seems like he has this, and he's admitted it too, so it's not even like a theory. He has a love for dominating women. Like, there's the dom energy for the female lead or the female antagonist and everything is just like insanity levels. You see it most prominently in Makima though.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, wasn't it stated that Makima was based on a woman that damaged his bike or something?
I believe that was the line of whatever he gave, which you can believe it, you can't believe it, it's whatever, but I can kind of see that. He definitely has a bizarre taste in writing characters and his overall style. But now you kind of see a bit of that nature in the expanded universe too. I know there's likely no tie-ins between all of this other than like part 1 and part 2, but it's fun to theorize. So like with
I was just gonna say before. Sorry to interrupt.
Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say how much you want to bet that if we went back and looked at all those names that the Gun Devil killed just to have a chance of killing Makima, the names of all the characters from like the one shots would have been on there.
All right. uh I'm responding to Red here. But yeah, like that would be interesting. I kind of do want to go back and go through those one shots and like his short story thing. The 2 volumes are getting released by Viz here, I believe next year in America. And just kind of see if those characters exist in that. But like, I personally haven't read Goodbye Eri because I want to do a video on it at some point. So, and you haven't read it either, and Red hasn't as well. So we can't really theorize too much on it. But like, especially in like Look Back, we have that depressing, like, universe that exists there, and you have a lot of that like Dami energy in it as well from one side of that relationship. But I think at this point with part 2 we are going to see some next level sadistic action because we've moved from the main Jump magazine to Jump Plus. And if you've read Fire Punch, you know how fucked Fujimoto can be.
Yeah, we are not gonna say anything because we don't want to get this video demonetized, but we're just gonna say in Fire Punch there's something involving woof woof.
Yeah, and not the woof woof bark bark meme, like woof woof in a whole different level. Red will be joining us in like 10 minutes, so
Okay.
I'm concerned because I believe in the same press release, Fire Punch is getting an anime adaptation as well. I'm somebody can course correct me in the comments there. Totally fine if I'm wrong. I'll own that. But I believe that was also getting an anime adaptation. And I'm fucking scared for some of that. And if part 2 goes the direction of that, or even in like a slightly parallel direction, in a post like interspecies reviewer world, we can have some very fucked up anime now.
Yeah.
I'm also raising your guys' audio because I still have this set to the Kingdom Hearts level, so you're a little bit louder now.
Okay.
But you were still in the green before, but just a little bit higher. I love OBS being able to adjust that on the fly, and I know Red's mic is probably still packed because he's lazier than I am. But no, like I am very, very happy that we're getting this back because Chainsawman, being that bread and butter of the channel, allows us to go back to a lot of the wacky skits. We have some stuff planned, as I've been teasing over on the Twitch side of things, and with the part 2 and the anime running pretty much parallel now, we'll be having. I know. I figure you guys will be joining in on some level, either here or maybe on the second channel that we're launching. But and I'm sad that Tyler can't be with us too. But that's all kind of our fault here in the America side of things, being super rushed with the con. But like the skits are going to be top tier, and depending on the content of those chapters, I really think we can push the bar with that stuff. And with the
Yeah.
anime adapting some of this stuff, getting to see some of this in color, in bright, vibrant action, because from the previews, you can tell Mappa put their whole bussy into this damn series. So I am super hyped for that. What do you think needs to happen in part 2? Because we still have so much shit from part 1 that's left to interpretation.
Yeah, I was talking about this with Tyler and Ann Arbor, who also couldn't be with us today, unfortunately. But yeah, the thing, there are two major things. Well, yeah, two major things that need to happen definitely. Like the first obvious one is that Denji needs to reunite with power. That I feel like that's going to be like the end goal of part 2. Like finding the Blood Devil, turning it back into power, maybe getting Power's memory back as a result. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows? But yeah, but Power did state that you won't find me, as in like power, but you still find the Blood Devil.
Yeah.
But that's still something I would like to find out. Like, can the memories of devils be restored by some means? But one other thing that I've always wanted to know is what is Kobeni's devil? Because she said she has a devil, she wants to keep it a secret.
Yeah,
And
I mean, with the little cast that we have left, I mean, I'm sure we'll explore part of that.
yeah,
So,
my theory for what Kobeni's devil is because I don't know if you agree with me on this, but Ann Arbor certainly didn't agree with me on this. Is that Kobeni seems to be quite a lonely character.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I always had the idea of her devil being like the either the lonely or the abandonment devil.
See, she also is quite lucky because no matter what position she's been put into, she seems to come out relatively unscathed. So I thought
Yeah,
maybe it had something to do with luck as
but
well.
what kind of devil would that actually be?
A fucking leprechaun for all Fujimoto cares.
No, I mean like, what would it be called?
the the luck devil, the wish devil, something along those lines. Like
Yeah.
she desperately has this desire to survive despite everything, but she also seems to be suicidal as fuck too, because she's
Oh, that would be a good devil for her, like the depression devil.
right, because she is depresso espresso.
Yeah.
I, and as dark as Fujimoto is, I'm glad I saved that till 10 minutes in, so we'll at least get ads on this. But like, no, that's insane to think about, because as dark as Fujimoto gets in his writing, that's a definite possibility. Like, especially having read at least about half of Fire Punch and seeing how fucked up he can get when he gets to that more adult oriented audience, you can see the dude has no boundaries really, and what topics he'll cover.
Oh no, I feel like the rumor that I heard, I don't know if it's true, is that the reason why Chainsawman was able to work in Jump is that he made Denji just a basic, just as basic of a shonen protagonist as he could, but otherwise after that he could do whatever he wanted. I don't know whether that was confirmed to be true or not, but if that's the case, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing, right? Because Jump has been called out for that trope many, many times. Most famously, when the Attack on Titan authors said, "Fuck you, I'll take my series elsewhere," because they wanted to make Eren kind of more akin to like Luffy or Goku.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. You know, the biggest thing for me though is like, if that was the case, will he switch gears up and shift away from Denji potentially in part two? Because we've seen he doesn't care who he kills in a series.
Yeah, I don't think he would switch from Denji, but I think what's going to happen is that Denji is going to mature more to be less like he was in part one.
That's also a very big possibility, because like for Jump Plus, for those that don't really read anything in there, that's where Spy Family is, and that's also where we see more mature series getting picked up. Like even Ayakashi Triangle moved from the main Jump to Jump Plus because of the mature nature of that manga. Yeah. And rightfully so, because it's basically fucking hentai at this point.
Yeah.
I cannot read that series in public anymore.
Oh no, you definitely cannot read that series in public. Like, I mean,
I read the Raksha chapter in my break room at work. I'm like, I'm not reading this here anymore. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and I last week when I was coming home from work, I was like, oh, the chapters are out, and then I nearly opened I was like, no, I can't read this in public.
Nope, like 2 pages in, there's full tits and ass. You got it. Great.
Yeah. But also the other thing that we need, because I watched a video earlier on about what needs to happen in part two, and I mean, there's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse that was hinted at as well. That needs to be addressed.
Right. I mean, we've gotten confirmation of like how the Chainsaw Devil works. We know that those 4 horsemen exist still, so maybe we could have like the hunting down of the 4 horsemen. We could have something, or they could be coming, because now Denji's in school. That was a big ending bit. Is he's enrolled in school. He's got Nyanta and everything, there to take care of and kind of mature the Kontrolled devil in a way that won't lead to another version of Makima. Essentially, that's going to be like the A plot of part 2 from the jump.
Yeah, well, I'm on the wiki right now, and the members are the Conquest Devil, the Death Devil, the War Devil, and the Hunger Devil.
Right, because traditionally it's like war, famine, strife, and famine.
Yeah.
So we've already got like rid of the Nazi devil. We've already got rid of like the gun devil now, technically. So like, Could you imagine, just to pivot for a moment, could you imagine if this was like our life? Getting rid of the gun devil, no more dealing with gun control issues in America. Anyway.
No, I could not imagine living in the Chainsaw Man world.
No, I wouldn't want to live in the world, but like, I just thought it'd be a little bit topical. You know what? That's enough politics for this video.
Well, actually, looking on here, apparently, from what I'm seeing, the Conquest Devil is pretty much the same as the Control Devil because it's the showing the same name in Japanese, which is Domination. So I guess Nayuta now is one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Lovely. That won't backfire.
Unless it does go down the idea that I've had for a while, in that even though Makima herself is dead, her presence is going to be felt throughout the whole of part 2, because Denji did say, I want to basically become you, essentially, Makima.
So there's a tab that's in trending called Alive, right?
Yeah.
So right now, this is who's still alive in this series: Denji, Rize, Quan Chi, Kobeni, the Darkness Devil, Nyata, Kishibe, and Yoshida. We have 8 fucking characters. 8.
I know. It's beautiful, but also horrifying.
Right, and if you go down, like, arguably there wasn't too many characters in overall, but still, when your death pool is this right here, and your alive pool is this, you have a beautiful fucking series. I'm sorry. Oh god, I love it. I love it so much. But now, like, for the anime, do we have a confirmed core list?
I don't think we have, but wasn't it confirmed that they're adapting the whole of part 1?
I believe they did say that. And with 97 chapters, let's open the... I got my phone right here. So we'll play the rule of 3. So 32 episodes. If we go by rule of 5, 19.
Unless they do sort of like half and up, because it's like with the Makima reveal, like the chapter that I love to torment Tyler with, where when he read that chapter, he was just like, Denji buddy. So those chapters, I feel like that would be potentially 2 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not 2 chapters.
2 episodes.
No, just 1 episode for 2 chapters.
That's a possibility. Like, yeah. There's no definitive rule for adaptations either. You just commonly it's 3 or 5 chapters to an episode. But there's no, like, rule. I mean, look at the Record of Ragnarok anime we were talking about before this video. Like, some of them were, like, 7 fucking chapters to an episode. Yeah. But that's more fight-centric than this, where you have brief pockets of fight, and then a lot of, like, character moments, which is why the series was so great for content. You know, you're not just talking about, like, on this panel, they did this brrr movement, and then on this panel they did this, you know, and then you got cannonballs of fucking Key over here, and you got Destructo Discs on, yeah. But
here's the thing, the final battle in Chainsawman, that could easily be 1 episode.
Oh, absolutely, and I would be shocked if it isn't. You know, because it's so succinct, but there's so much you could stretch from it to make it all 1 episode as well. You know, that fight could extend pretty miraculously, and that ending in particular could lead a nice little bit of foreshadowing into part 2's anime, because if part 1's getting adapted, we're just going to go on and assume that part 2 will be, you know. But I'm just, there's so much theory crafting for what could happen in that. What I'd like to see, though, in that adaptation is, because if there's one thing that I I will criticize Chainsaw Man for is following some of the fights is a fucking nightmare.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the beginning fight with where it's like Makima Harem versus uh Denji slash Puccietta. That when we got to the part where Denji was blasted into space and he just ripped his heart off, I was like confused, like why is he doing that?
That fight, the Typhoon Devil, Bomb Devil shit, really needs to be cleaned up a bit. And the other one that really needs to be cleaned up, in my opinion, is the Katana Devil, because that was made for anime, but in the manga, just the way they paneled it was just not that great. So
Yeah.
I I don't want to even bother pulling up Chainsaw Man because I know that'll get struck down by Viz. Uh, but like that one, especially with the setting of the train and everything, that would be a great one to flesh out a little bit more because that's a great action set piece for an anime. I think back to, I know it's a really cliche move, but I flash back to like High School of the Dead with like the boob physics for the fucking
Yeah,
sniper.
yeah. I was just like, okay, this is laughably unrealistic.
Oh, absolutely. But this series exists on that same level. Like none of this is realistic at all.
No,
But like physics wise and set piece wise, this is on that level of like absurdity, but also perfect for animation.
yeah. Um, but I feel like one of the biggest things that I just want to be confirmed 100% is the whole how did Denji meet Puccietta in the first place?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That
cause
one that one definitely needs to be addressed. And then the other thing that really needs to be addressed from that same bit is, was it planned? Was
I
it
think
planned?
I honestly, because you mentioned my theory of like Makima did kind of set it up in one of the reviews, and I just think that because it just seems like too much of a coincidence that the second Denji beats a devil that Makima has under her control, she shows up.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, and I really do lean into that line of, it's everything was planned because she controlled fate, basically.
Yeah.
She controlled everything that she wanted to happen up to her demise.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And she
And
just got too cocky, and that's
yeah,
how it all happened. That's how
yeah,
she was beaten.
because I feel like she actually gave up in the end, because she was such a fangirl of the Chainsaw Devil. Because in that chapter where she's like, Chainsaw Devil doesn't spit, Chainsaw Devil doesn't wear clothes. Like she thought she was talking to Denji, where in fact she was actually talking to Puccietta, the Chainsaw Devil, all that time. And I feel like once she figured that out, she was like, I'm not worthy to be a fan of the Chainsaw Devil, so
Yeah,
there's nothing left for me.
yeah. That's the thing. Like, there's so much. Like I said, there's so much open to interpretation. That's why I would, and I love when series are, don't get me wrong, I love when series leave shit open to interpretation. But when there's so much left open, I feel the same way about Promised Neverland and some of its like intricacies not being wrapped up properly.
Yeah.
I, I would like some things to be addressed before we get too deep into part two.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Like reading Chainsaw Man and just having so little explained and open to interpretation, that kind of reminds me of Wolf's Rain, the anime.
Yeah,
I I don't. Did you ever watch that?
long ago.
Yeah, but that just had that series was it was great series, but it just held things so close to its chest. Like, yeah, it
Hmm.
was kind of frustrating.
Oh yeah, it's very much along that same line because you as a fan of something, you want everything addressed, you know, but you also want to suspend disbelief at the same time, which is what makes this medium in particular so fascinating, because you can do so much with manga, you can do so much with like comics too, but less so in their current state, sadly.
Yeah.
But when written well, you can manage that middle ground of like addressing things that the fans want to know, and also leaning into all of the other little ins and outs of what you want to drag your fans along the line of in case you come back to something. I give full credit here, and I know talking comics and a manga, blasphemous, but I give full credit to the Power Ranger comic team here, because at every drop of lore in that new series, like Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers in particular, they've managed to address something from the original series, the Mighty Morphin and the Go-Go Power Rangers ones that began in like 2015, 2016, all the way up to now. So think of a story that's been told along that long a line, more like One Piece, for example, in manga terms, but not so long that you have had to go back and reread a series like you would with like One Piece. Like, where did this character get introduced, or this that piece? Well, it was 15 years ago.
Yeah. To the point that in the anime you have to have a flashback when
right.
oh yeah, that character, I remember that character.
A character that was in one episode or one chapter. I remember you, great. But no, I don't feel great shitting on One Piece, but you get the point. That kind of storytelling is so masterful, and I feel like Fujimoto has that same skill. He's just never really had a series where he's had to do that, right? Hey, Red's here.
Hey!
But Fujimoto's never really had to string plot threads along for 5, 10, 15 years or anything like that.
Boys, fill me in on the conversation. Where are we at?
Basically, like, the line of suspending disbelief and kind of like where the story needs to go from here at the moment. So with like, I was using the Power Rangers comics for an example here, because we've seen stuff that's been way back in like 2015, 2016 addressed here recently in the last couple issues. So like having that fulfillment there, like, oh, I remember this moment. I remember this bit of lore here. That's so fucking cool. You know, we can have that with like the Nyata, for example, and Kishibe's backstory, filling in a little bit more of like his early days and what led him to like wanting to hand over and give this chance to Nyata instead of just exercising her away and being like, nope, you don't even get a fucking chance. I don't want to deal with you. Get the fuck out of here, you know. But
yeah, honestly, it's kind of fucking. I need to reread a little bit of the ending. It's kind of fucking crazy to think that they're actually letting this child live, because like, remind me, because it has been a second. Like the assumption is that the kid, that is the name of the kid, right? Whatever you're.
Yeah, Nyata.
That kid that Denji's taking care of is the
reincarnation of the Control Devil.
Yes, sorry, it's been a long time. Honestly, when the fuck did part 1 end again? Was that
like yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, we were talking about that like December of 2020.
Oh my god!
Right.
What happened since then, man?
So like, well, I can break it down because it's right there on the right hand side of the screen, thanks to Discord's new update. We are not
new update, not sponsored.
No, not sponsored by Discord, but if you want to send me a check, Discord, go for it.
We could be sponsored by Raid Shuttle Legends.
You know what? At this point, I'll take a raid ad read. Pay my medical bill, damn it.
Hypothetically, if a company sponsored you, David, but they said, hey, we're going to sponsor you, but we're not going to pay you in money, we're going to pay you in hookers. Would you take it?
For legal reasons, I'm going to say no.
Legal reasons.
For legal reasons, I'm going to say no. I am, however, a massive whore.
Okay, like
What if they
views the video gets corresponds to how many hookers you get. So like if it's like 100 views, it's like you get one, whatever. But if you get 1,000 views, that's 10 whole hookers at once.
I've always wanted to be in a gangbang, so why the fuck not?
What if they were all clones of Makima?
Damn, dude, I'd fuck Makima. If I knew that I could run and not get involved in her fucking shenanigans, and I could just do a quick little fucky wucky, I'd do it. Now, see, this is the energy we have to keep. We bring back the Chainsawman reviews.
Wait. We're red.
Yeah, of course.
Red. So if you want to just get the fucky wucky from Makima, I just wanted to get the sucky from her. I don't give a fuck about the fucky wucky. Look at them lips, man. Look at them lips in that fucking cover, my dude.
No.
She got them DSLs.
No. I would much rather. Makima's best feature, 100%, has always been that ass. Okay, I want to fuck the bottom, not the top. All right.
You know what? You got a great point.
But Red, you can't deny the image when Denji was gonna strike Makima down, and it was just her boobs on display.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you know what? We do the triple treatment. I get a tit job, I get to fuck that ass, and then I get the sucky. Cool.
I feel like it's not the real Makima experience unless she's like doming you hard, right? Like I basically would want to just be like tied up. Like,
remember the cringy ass skit we filmed where you just led me around like a dog?
Wasn't that like our first skit? Wasn't that the beginning of our skit?
That was one of our first skits. I'm just like, I have a fucking collar, I got a leash, what the hell? I'll let Red walk me like a goddamn dog and feed me fucking Scooby Sacks.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but like, was that one was more your idea than mine?
That was my idea. That was 100% my idea. I'm like, this is perfect.
Of course it was Vex's idea.
Like my dude, like that I 100% am a switch. I'm like, fuck it. I'll let Red walk me for a fucking bit. You also basically motorboated my ass with 2 manga volumes in it.
Yeah, it's because I gotta get used to calling you Vex. It's because that's gonna be so hard. It's because Vex is like very, very cleanly, like a clean person. I have zero doubt. I had no worries getting in that ass. Okay.
Well, here's how you do it, Red. You instead of saying flex, you say fex.
What a vex that was.
But here's the confusing part for me, right? We joked about this too, Red. So I'm going to circle back to a conversation Luke and I were having for a bit. We talked about like maybe a Fujimoto expanded universe. So
no.
I know it sounds cringe, but just hear me out. There's one overwhelming feature in the whole thing. His love for dominating women, right? The Dami energy.
Are you joking? Is this gonna be a joke?
The Dami energy. So for what I am with both Fire Punch and the part 1 getting animated, potentially, I remember we found that little leak thing way back when that Fire Punch was also getting adapted, and I believe it was actually confirmed around the same time. But Yonko talked about it.
How confirmed it is, but it was like that guy that's almost never wrong. So
yeah, Yonko Productions.
Well, apparently, I've been looking around, and there is no confirmation.
Well, I mean, if
Fire Punch isn't confirmed, but Yonko Productions is like very rarely wrong. I know he has been wrong, but like it's like a 9 to 1.
I haven't seen him on Twitter, so either he might have blocked me or he just has went media dark.
No, I haven't heard from him in a while either.
Yeah, there is. I'm on my anime list, and usually when something does get announced, they'll have the anime page, and it's not on here.
So, but anyway, like, it seems like these all take place in a same-ish universe, though. Like, look back, Fire Punch, and...
Are we super sure? Because doesn't Fire Punch have, like, a weird, like, post-apocalypse thing?
I'm thinking maybe Fire Punch is way down the line. So, Chainsaw Man being, like, the beginning of this timeline... And then as the world gets more and more fucked from the battle with the devils, we could lead into like that Fire Punch post-apocalyptic.
It's possible. No, I feel like we got to keep in mind though that not everything has.
Oh no. It's just theory crafting.
You know what I mean? Hold on, let me finish my sentence real quick. Not everything has to be like a Soul Eater Fire Force thing, as cool as that is.
Absolutely, absolutely. But this is like theory crafting, and as destructive.
In terms of like a MatPat game theory shit posting, interesting idea. That's totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and as fucked as some of the devil's powers have been, you could definitely see like the possibility of leading to that kind of a universe as well. Like, look at the Darkness Devil and how fucking terrifying that presence was. There's no saying that there's not like a global warming devil that will lead us into another fucking ice age eventually. You know?
Well, that's the kind of shit that I'm so excited to see more of, is the different types of devils and the ways that he's like humanizes and personifies these fears.
Exactly.
You know? Like I love that shit.
And with a cast of 8 characters, he's going to have to create some more.
Yeah, he is.
And that's something that I really like about Chainsawman, and I love Thurman, but bitches like Thurman, ooh, he kills people too quickly. Nah, dude. You know what that does? Keeps that shit fresh.
It does.
Well, let's look at who here has read/watched through a bunch of Komi? Can't communicate.
I watched a bit of it.
I've done that.
So Komi's a phenomenal show, but that author is addicted to making new characters. Okay.
Oh,
Every
absolutely.
Fucking chapter he introduces. I'm like, to the point where I'm like, how big is this fucking school? Like it's unbelievable how many, and like I'm at the point where like I can't remember them all. And now, to be fair to him, it's not like Promise Neverland. In Promise Neverland, it kind of gets to the point where it's like, all right, there's so many characters, and like most of them are like blank slate nothing burgers. But in Komi, all the characters are really well developed, and they all have like really interesting like character stuff, and they all get like their own time to shine, like whole chapters that are just devoted to these new characters. But there's literally just so many of them.
Yeah, I think in the first season there was like 60, 70 characters introduced. I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't know about that much, but I would say at least 40 in the very first season. There's definitely 60 or 70 now in the manga. Yeah.
But like, I get it from like a school perspective, because schools can be giant, but still, let some of them sit there and develop a bit more. You know?
No, I wouldn't even say that, because the problem with Komi is not that they're not developed. They're developed, but it's just like with a show, there's a point where you have to like all right, how many characters can we really have be prevalent in this story before? Because like people are not going to remember. Like there's like some sort of scientific study. I don't remember what it is, but like they went into like how many friends is like the max amount of friends you can really have, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's only so many people you can really remember and like hang out with and like have these personal connections with. And I think like I don't know. I feel like I heard like the absolute max, if you're like some social butterfly, was like a little under 100. Like the good friend. That's some psycho shit. If you have almost 100 friends, you're like on.
Oh, absolutely. Like
I was just to reiterate of that. They did that in Dr. Stone, where they were questioning like how many people.
Yes, they did. Thank you.
Yeah,
right.
and the answer. Dynamic. Yes. The answer was 150.
Okay, thank you. Even that seems way too high to me.
Oh, absolutely, it is. And the thing is, like, some of them could graduate in that series, you know, and move on and get jobs and develop, and you know, and you would think, like, with it being a school, that was kind of the goal, and then maybe, and this is just theorizing, maybe some of the characters caught on overseas more than they did over here, and they're like, well, this one's popular, so we'll keep it, and then they fell into the same trap like Promised Neverland, other than the fact that half that fucking cast did not need to exist past the chapters they were introduced, because they're nothing. But anyway, like,
yeah, and like his character, like, again, Komi is it's great, but like you can tell he's the whoever writes Komi wants to write that series until the end of time. Like they are stretching it out like crazy. They didn't even admit their feelings to each other and like start dating. I think it was like it took like 300 chapters for them to start dating.
It did. Well, to be fair to it, like Komi's chapters are not as long as like
that's true
traditional chapters. So, like if you smudged a bunch of them together, it would be pretty much like I'd say 150.
Yeah, I think it's like 5.
And also, and I will say as well, it didn't really bother me too bad because Komi is like severely she's on the spectrum somewhere. Let's just say like she's
Yeah.
very.
Oh,
And then,
yeah, for sure.
Then Tato is like super nervous, right? So like I can believe them taking forever to admit to each other, but like again, it just drags. Like it's a very fun series, but like I need to start looking at it more. It's kind of like the same way. I think we had this conversation about something like I think Spy X Family. It's the same way I need to start looking at that, right? Like I need to stop expecting like constant plot updates with Comey and more look at it as like a funny little like look at it as like Adventures of God. You know how you like Adventures of God, Vex?
Yeah, and that's kind of how I approach that series, and it's something
like,
I want
to. Weekly adventures, like what are the weekly shenanigans going on here? But
Right.
anyway, I'm going to tie it back into Chainsawman. The reason I brought this up is that I like how Fujimoto does it because like people praise like let's say JoJo for example, where Araki when he feels like he's getting bored with a cast of characters, kills them all, moves on to the next generation. Boom, new stuff. But he keeps just enough the same of what you like about JoJo to keep you strung along, right?
Yep.
Chainsawman, Fujimoto, he does the same thing in a different way. Where like, hey, well, I'll keep those like three characters, the three main characters that keeps you tethered to this world. You know, I'll keep your Denji. You know, for a while you kept Power. I don't remember what was Power's status. Did she die?
She died. She got the cake bang.
Oh no!
She died. She died. Then
I thought she came back as like blood.
Yeah, she did come back because Pucciella asked Power to come back to save Denji, and then she got control.
Yeah, and then she didn't like fully remember him, right?
Yeah.
And then she was like, "You can find." Didn't she say you can like find me in hell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
okay,
we'll have that adventure to save.
No, I need to dead ass. Sorry, go ahead.
We'll have that adventure at some point too, but you really do need to reread like, and that's why I love that I have all the physicals.
Chainsawman is the type of series that like I actually really do want to reread. Like I would not be a pain in the ass at all. I would. Love
yeah, I mean we got like.
I gotta finish my thought, and then I promise I'll let you talk for like a half hour. I just really forgot. I gotta finish my thought here. So with Chainsawman though, like he does like kind of like I said with Araki, where like when it's about to get boring, boom, switch up the characters, right? It feels like Fujimoto's got this really good formula in my mind, where he keeps just enough alive to keep you going, but like he wants to keep it fresh constantly. And like again, what I like about shows where characters are always dying is it keeps it constantly like exciting. A good example is I'm watching through JoJo Part 4 right now with Allie. She has no idea, and she knowing that Araki is the type of author who kills like half of the cast every part. Like you flip a coin on if this character's gonna live or not. Literally, it's like a 50-50. So she's like watching this, and she's super attached to Koichi from Part 4, and he gets like fisted through the chest by Yoshida Akira, and she looks at me and she's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I know he lives. He's in Part 5, but like she has no idea. Like that's the guy. I love that about Fujimoto. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so like we got 2 weeks before Part 2 comes out. I mean, you could read 97 chapters in 2 weeks.
I could, yeah.
But no, like the big thing for me, and I talked a little bit about this with Luke before we started recording, is there's so much of that left open to interpretation in Part 1 that I think will foreshadow into Part 2 here. But the biggest thing for me, and you and I had this like bond over this character, Red, is the slacker bro, Yoshida, that did not want to do anything but focus on school. I want to know this dude's deal, because it seems like he's seen so much shit that he just doesn't care.
Now, he had like
the octopus thing, yeah.
So he must have had like a contract with the Octopus Devil?
Can you imagine in Jump Plus what that devil's ability will be?
I mean, my assumption is that I think we made jokes about. I mean, he's a cool douchey college bro. I mean, he's like fucking college girls with the tentacles.
We could have that in Part 2 though, because it's in Jump Plus.
You know what I doubt he's gonna do full sex scenes, boys, but I do think it'll get a little more overt with the implications.
Right.
What I will say too is I feel like I like the idea that like I'm trying to remember. Normal people. I was gonna say, is this like a stand thing? But no, normal people actually can see everything that's going on in this world, can't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be like they would see tentacles come out of this man's hand and be like, oh my.
A college girl could be like, ooh.
Yeah, he does. It says on his Wikipedia page.
I was hoping you were gonna check, Luke. Thank you.
Yeah. Yoshida has a contract with the Octopus Devil for an unknown price, and literally the ability it says tentacle summoning.
My brother in Christ, I want to fucking hang out with the Octopus Devil. Like, that guy is probably chill as fuck.
Right?
Like I can just see them like smoking weed. Like, man, people are so scared of octopus. Like, it was so chill.
Oh my god, can you imagine if the Octopus Devil has a relation with the literal hentai devil?
Oh, I mean,
skit!
That can be arranged.
Skit!
If that guy comes back, we will do a skit about the Octopus Devil and the hentai devil hanging out. Okay?
Hey, can I license your arm?
Okay. I have an inkling hat, but that'd be more squid. So I need to get like an Octoling hat or something from Splatoon and to be the Octopus Devil.
Hey, Yoshida.
Yo, the skit could be something like the Octopus Devil, like his reputation was all good until hentai came along and got popularized.
Hey, Yoshida, what that tentacle do, buddy?
Everything was fucking fine, and the Japanese government said you can't show dicks in your porn, so everyone went to tentacles. They're just my arms, bro. They shouldn't be lewd.
I love it. I fucking love it.
Yes. But is everyone still there? Or
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was worried for a second.
But I have to say though, like that is one of my favorite elements of this series is like the insert something that people could fear here devil. It's so fun. Like and like the power system, the power scaling is so fun because anytime you see a devil, you can kind of like think in your head like, okay, how powerful is this devil? How many people fear this thing, right? So like with Octopus Devil, like there are people that are afraid of octopus. Ooh, they're icky, or ooh, they're kind of creepy, or there's that thing where how octopus are like super smart and they can squeeze through like a hole the size of like a quarter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So like, there's a video if you ever want to look it up. Look up a video of a huge octopus that accidentally like got washed onto like a guy's boat, and it literally squeezes out of this tiny little hole. Like it's huge, and it like slowly like those things are smart. There are tales of octopuses being like so smart that they can like break out of their like aquarium tanks.
Mm-hmm.
Like those things are smart.
I mean, even Family Guy did a skit on that with Seamus the Sailor at one point. Like,
oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's weird that I remember that when I haven't watched Family Guy for like.
Family Guy expert Vex over here.
I haven't watched Family Guy in like 3 years. But yeah, like.
But yeah, so in terms of like where the plot's gonna go, I was gonna say you guys were talking when I came in about like, oh, maybe we'll have some interesting like through line narratives that are like like we're talking like One Piece style stuff where it's like, oh my god, there's the conclusion of that. But I have to say, and this I don't think this is a bad thing. I think this is just his style. Fujimoto strikes me as a little bit more of an Araki type author than an Oda type author. And what I mean by that is like JoJo's author, he has said on record that like he basically makes shit up like week by week. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like he's just kind of like doing it to do cool battles, and I get a similar vibe from Fujimoto. Not that it's like bad, but that he's not. I don't think he's like doing these huge, crazy like this was foreshadowed all that time ago type shit.
I mean, I thought that about like Tabata, for example, until here recently. Like, there's a lot of stuff that like now is making sense from 150, 200 chapters ago.
Surprise us, yeah.
But like. I can see that side of it too, like 100%. Like, there's very obviously, like, he was making some shit up in the Bomb Devil fight as he moved along, like, with the whole power systems and that. Like, how this shit would function, and then, like, the Typhoon Devil thingy that looked like a goddamn aborted fetus up there.
Yeah. Which, as soon as he saw that, he had to tell the chapters as Sharknado.
Oh, God, yeah. But, like...
Did he title it Sharknado?
Yes. Yes,
yeah,
really?
Yeah. Let me go. I
believe you. I totally believe you. I had no idea. Wow, that's crazy. You know what I just realized too? I actually have the first 5 volumes of Chainsawman physical, so that'll help me start my reread.
Yep. Chapter 50 was titled Sharknado.
Oh, dude, I'm so fucking excited. Didn't they say it was going to focus on Denji going to... The one thing we've heard about this is that it's going to focus on Denji's school life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what if, like, the whole genre changes, right? Like, the vibes are just totally different, and it's, like, some, like, early Bleach shit, but, like, really fucked up. Like,
oh, yeah, we had even talked about, like, maybe the whole school gets destroyed at the beginning of it, too. Like, there's a...
parody of that first Bleach opening, like, yeah, y'all want to know, and everyone's just, like, dropping dead around him.
Please, somebody make that.
You know, because again, what I would love to see from him is like, yeah, I'm trying to think of how to do it. I'm sure there's been like chapters like this before, but like I'd love to see a first chapter, like an 86-page first chapter that gets you super attached to like all these fucking classmates, and they just all get horrifically murdered immediately. Like, and you know, just to make sure it's not a waste, like 1 or 2 can live, but like 95% of them just get
Oh,
horrifically
absolutely.
murdered. It's like,
And given his writing streak lately, like from Look Back, Goodbye Eri, and probably Listen to Futu, we don't know yet.
Read those as well.
Like those all seem to be like full manga volume sized one shots. At least the first 2. Like we don't know anything about Listen to Futu until Sunday, but like those all are like 100 plus page one shots. So we could very easily get a 100 page chapter 1 for part 2, and it be nothing to this man. You know, so it's very possible that we get that, and we get that like fucking massive attachment to all these characters, and then everything just goes to shit.
I'm
because
curious how he's gonna. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And then just like we lead into like the full on like retrieve power because we need power back, or we need to go back and meet up with the remaining cast and be like, okay, school's gone, everything's fucked, we need to protect the Control Devil because everybody's trying to get her, and boop, into the plot.
I have a couple questions, right? Like I have a question, right? So since Makima died,
and was eaten,
right? Of course. But I mean, she died. She did die, and she was reborn. The question is now in my head. You remember how like she got rid of things? I'm trying to hold on. No, that wasn't her. It was by getting chainsaw. I was sorry. I almost misremembered something about her. I was gonna say because like, did the Nazis come back? But no, she did that by getting Chainsawman to eat them. So never mind. Okay. Yeah, I want to see more concepts like that about how like, wait a minute now, hold on. Denji ate her, but I thought the whole point was like. That devil would disappear and that like concept disappear, but that didn't happen.
No.
That didn't happen. No, it's not. It's Chainsawman that has to eat.
Chainsawman specifically in that form, and not Denji. Okay.
Yeah, and not Denji because Denji was specifically the one that ate her.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Weird, but makes sense.
No, bro, I remember when that chapter came out. What a fucking awesome way to finish off a villain.
Right?
Oh my god, and the meticulousness of it, and like getting it in like little Tupperware meals, and like
and then saying grace over it and everything. Like he respected the dead.
All the different recipes and ways he ate her.
Yeah, but think about that. Like he even paid respects as he was eating her corpse. That's
no matter all the shit that happened, he still had weirdly he still had some feelings for her, you know?
Yeah.
And like I get it, right? Because like we can sit here and make like jokes about like, oh, the dumpy all day every day, but like it was more than that. It was, I mean, like she was the first, even though she was using him, she was the first anyone who like helped him, gave him good food, gave him food, shelter. I mean, like literally, like she made him into something more than just like a slave on the street.
Yeah. Like, he quite literally was that. You know, he was paying off his debt, selling his organs when the series started. And then moved on, found a home, found a family, and had all of that ripped away from him by this one woman. And it's insane. It is absolutely insane. And this is leading into another conversation Luke and I were having, is like, I'm curious what anime only's reaction to that portrayal of women will be. When we saw people
Makima, as we all know, represents all women.
No. That's not what I'm saying. Don't cancel me. But what I'm saying is, like, we have seen how fucking weird anime onlys can be. Especially now with, like...
Are you trying to say what anime only's reaction to, like, a really well-written female villain will be?
Not just that, but the manipulation from a well-written female villain. Because we see...
I'm sure it'll be half and half between, like, step on me, mommy, please, and, like, this is sexist.
And see, the point I was making, and Luke and I both saw this during one of the early modcasts, actually, the reaction to Anya's introduction. And people were thinking that Lloyd was a pervert because the camera angle and it was slightly looking like it might be peeking up her fucking skirt. While they're like,
don't get me started on that.
It's weird and tough, right? Because like, I the way I look at it, I feel like society is very overprotective of women, but also just they over everything of women, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, look at exactly what's going on right now, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, women are getting fucked over in this country, you know, and I feel like from women's perspective, they're getting to the point where they are very there's a word for this and I can't think of the word, but like when you're super over defensive, overreacting, you know, to like everything because like everything feels like an attack. And I'm at the point where I can't even blame them for that anymore, right? So like now if it's guys doing it, they're being weird and like
it was mostly men doing it, or
yeah, then it could be some weird, overly weird, or like a lot of it's projection, right? I mean, like look at like the like conservative side, like the people who scream the most about like pedophiles tend to be the ones that have like weird pedophilic like tendencies that they're locking away. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So like yeah, so I mean it could be some of that weird projection shit going on. But like in terms of if it comes from women, I don't know, like I try to just like look the other way. Like I understand why, especially now, I mean like they live in a country that's constantly like trying to sexualize them or use them or manipulate them, so I understand to an extent. But yeah, I would say I hope that people look at this as what it is. To me, it's a phenomenally written female character with like her own agency, and it's never made like her character isn't that she's a woman. It's never pointed out that it's like an exception or weird that she's a woman and she's able to do all this. She's just a badass woman who is one of the best villains in anime and manga history, in my opinion. And I hope that that's looked at with great praise because she's been phenomenal.
Yeah, she's well written. She has her own agency, and the downside to it is, at least for me looking at it and having been around the anime only community for a lot of series that have well written female characters that end up meeting their end, is I've seen the fact that like they killed a woman, how dare they, you know, and I'm just like, who the fuck cares? Like, it's a character, it's fictional, it's not them attacking a woman IRL, right? You're not, this is voiced by a human, drawn by a human, but it is not an actual human, you know?
And I just gotta say something. If they're gonna say that about Makima, like, they cut a woman up with a chainsaw. Have you seen any of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films?
Well, also, like, that's an inbred hillbilly family that we're not even going to go down that path. But like, no, it's very interesting. Like, and Red's got it right on the nail here, and that's kind of the response I was hoping for. Is like we're in a country, at least here in America, where women are having their own agency stripped away from them, their bodily autonomy, everything, and we sadly, like, now, I don't blame them either, you know, for screaming. Like, it's, you know, unfortunate that we live in a reality such as this, but we're also at the point where, like, what's not reality should not affect your point of view on reality itself. You have to separate art from reality. You have to separate art from artists. There is no saying that this character that has been written by Fujimoto is his own thoughts on that gender, that, you know. But it's at the same line that he's been very, very public about, like, I like women that dominate. I am basically.
There's nothing more based than that.
Exactly.
Even if it's like a kid, I don't care. It's based as fuck.
Exactly. Like, that's the thing. And then on the very, very polar opposite of it, you have people like Oda that very much are like, I like big boobs and big ass. You know. I am a stick figure and 2 giant circles for my women. That is how I draw them. You know, that would be a more appropriate line for you to be like, that's a little bit sexist.
No coincidence that he started extra sexualizing Nami when he married the voice actress.
Oh, no, not at all. It's like, I'm fucking that, so that's I'm going to draw you. You know, but that's kind of my line of thought there. What I really want to get on here now is what are the thoughts for the pacing of this anime, because we know that it's going to be one core, or not just one core, but like one season covering all 97 chapters. What do you think the pacing is going to be here?
I think they're going to do it well. I feel like they understand that this has the potential. This has One Punch Man potential, 100%. And I genuinely believe in them to do this well. I think if you are Studio Bones, not Studio Bones.
It's Mappa.
What's the studio?
Madhouse.
Mappa. If you're Mappa right now,
Mappa.
if you're Mappa, you're putting your A plus team on this. You're putting your A, B, and C team on this, and putting the D team on everything else. Like this is the thing that needs to be perfect, and I believe that they know that. I really do. I have full faith in it. I don't think it's gonna be just because it's one season. I don't think that means it's gonna be like 12 episodes, 24 episodes. They could easily extend it to like a 35, 40 episode season. You know what I mean? I think they'll do what they have to do to pace it well and make it well done. I'm actually not worried at all because I think that the clout of this series, because like this series legendarily sold as well as like an anime series, like a manga with an anime would before it got an anime announcement.
Oh yeah.
I truly believe that they will not fuck this up. I know you guys like to talk about what if they do? Then we'll get there when we get there. But as of now, I believe it's going to be great.
See, the thing for me is Mappa has really become like the late stage madhouse here for me. That's the thing that concerns me. But I realize that they also know that they want to focus on this because from the trailer, the previews.
Right? Like, to add on to your point, I think I know where you're going with this. They have taken too much on their plate, that's for sure. But I think that the things that are I took that into account. I think the things that are going to suffer for that are going to be like their B and C projects. You know what I mean?
I think
like,
what they'll do is focus on JJK and this.
Yes, those are going to be the two that are top, and anything else will be like probably mid and like have like occasional good scenes. Like a good example is I had no idea that Mappa did Dorohedoro. You know Dorohedoro?
Oh yeah.
So like, Ali loves Dorohedoro, but let me give you an example, right? Dorohedoro is mostly CGI. Now it's actually like decently done CGI. It's not like Berserk, right? Like it actually there is effort put in this CGI, but it is still at the end of the day kind of weird looking CGI. That's the shit I think that Mappa's gonna do with their like weird side projects. Is like kind of half-ass it. I think that if they have to make a business decision where it's like either we do a mid job on both Chainsawman and our 3 other projects, or we fucking just absolutely shit up these 3 other projects and fucking do an immaculate job on Chainsawman, they will make that decision, I think, in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
I think Chainsawman's going to be fucking phenomenal, and their other shit will suffer. That is my prediction.
Yeah, and that's good. Like, and that's kind of what I want, right? I want.
Yeah, fuck this shit. I don't give a shit. I want Chainsawman to be great.
Yeah, I really think what's going to happen is like the best example I can give here is Bethesda, right? They legendarily shit the bed with Fallout 76, but I think what happened in that is they put all of their effort into the fact that that's going to be a microtransaction hellscape, and take all that money and funnel it into funding for Starfield, because we've seen how glorious that looks, and into Elder Scrolls 6, because they realize that those are going to be bigger selling projects than a fucking MMO. Even though legendarily, Fallout is one of the most popular fucking franchises on the planet, and that made their good faith shit. They bit the bullet so they can let all their other projects sing. At least in my opinion. But we'll see here. I think what we'll get is like the first few episodes of being probably like one episode being that introduction chapter, and then the next 2 or 3 will be leading up to like the Blood Devil introduction and everything, and then going down from there we'll have a hard focus on that Katana Devil fight. And that is one of those, and I talked with Luke about I think like while I was talking with Luke, I hit the nail on the head here, and I really want the fights to be cleaned up a bit, because some of them got really like wacky and hard to follow. So I think they'll focus on extending that Katana Devil fight and making it an immaculate set piece to showcase how well they can animate. And they'll do the same thing with like the fucking Sharknado chapter.
I remember when part 1 first ended, Andy and I, my buddy Andy and I, we did the math on this, and someone could do it again if you want. But we did like a simple, like, okay, there's, 96 chapters, 97?
97.
If you, like, because a decently fast, like, a nice, fast, quick-paced anime is like 3 chapters per episode, right? So
I did the rule by 3 and rule by 5.
97, can someone do 97 divided by 3 for me?
Yeah, let me pull back up, because I already did this a little bit earlier. So if we do by the rule of 3, that'd be 32.3. And if we go do rule of 5, it was 97 divided by 5. That'd be about 19.4, so 20-ish.
I think 3 is,
Yeah.
5 would be crazy. That'd be a half a volume per episode.
Well, I was saying, Greg, earlier that the final fight between Puccietta, Denji, and Makima and everyone in the graveyard, that could easily be one episode in of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then like the theater chapter, I think should be one episode by itself because that's such an important moment.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That should have time to like sit at the very least, like a half an episode where like it's broken up by like the commercial breaks. Mm-hmm. Well, I have more to say. I'm swallowing a cookie real quick.
You were going to pay $7 for a can of popcorn chicken at con.
I didn't buy shit. No food at the con was bought. No.
Because
I paid $6 for a fucking Red Bull, and I hate myself for it.
Go ahead, Luke, and then I have something to say.
Yeah, because I'm looking at right now on chapter 95, which is just a straight up beat 'em up fight between Puccietta and Makima. That could easily just be like 2, 3, 4 minutes in of itself.
Exactly, yeah. Even if they extend it a bit, like a lot of Chainsaw Man's chapters are just action, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say the majority of episodes could cover 3 chapters, which is very fast. If some that are just action, you might be able to squeeze 4 in there. You know what I mean?
Like the Bomb Devil arc itself, like the whole latter half of it could be like 3-4 episodes.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I'm saying, right? Because in animation, fights go by so much quicker, especially if you just bare bones it. I'm sure they'll add a little bit to the fights and yada yada, but like keep this in mind. It sounds crazy. Like you think 97 chapters, how are they going to do this in one season? But if you really do the math, they could pretty easily cover this entire series in like 30 episodes. You know what I mean?
It's shocking to think about, but from like a logical perspective, given how fast a fight is in an anime, it's 100% correct. Like and even doing it well, animating the series meticulously, going through and breaking it down and doing everything 1-to-1, you could, cover 30, even maybe 25 episodes. That'd be bullshit fast, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, that's what, I'm just sitting here hoping it's like a Death Note type series. If I remember correctly, Death Note was like 30-something episodes.
Yeah, I think it was 32. I think it was 30.
No, it was 37.
37?
I think that'd be perfect, because then they could extend some of the fights, they'd have time. Like, somewhere between 35 and 40 episodes, I think would be beautiful.
Wasn't one episode basically all L's monologue?
There was a single... I struggle to say filler. There was an episode where they... Like, the episode of L's death, they actually, like... added like heavy anime only stuff because you could tell they really wanted to like stretch out that L death because there's a scene where they're like it's basically like yaoi bait. There's a scene where they're like walking on the stairs together and like Light like washes his feet because it's like Jesus, like oh my god, it's like biblical and shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I had no idea, and then when I went and read the manga, I was like, oh, that wasn't in there at all. Like in the manga, L just like dies out of fucking nowhere, and they really build up to it in the anime.
I mean, fucking SAO does a lot of that too with the anime. Like what's like literally 3 pages in a light novel is a full ass episode. But like no, it's insanity though. Like an adaptation is such an important step for a franchise. I said this like when fucking TPN shit the bed with season 2. It's a damn shame.
The manga was already so bad after they left Gracefield.
Right.
They get even worse.
Right, but
I'm just gonna say, just to go off on a tangent, you'd be surprised how many people how many people on YouTube now are calling the Goldie Pond arc better than Gracefield. You'd be surprised how many people I've.
And I call those people psychopaths.
I think there are people that value aesthetic over story substance, right? So like the Goldie Pond, I think the only thing that Goldie Pond had over the first arc was it looked cool. Like there were cool looking moments, but there was nothing of substance. It's a cool looking moment is like when you launched like just a bunch of random weaponry at a demon, but like there's really not like wow, that's what you did, huh?
Yeah, like the Jillian versus Lewis bit there where you were and it was Nomu and Nomura, I believe, were the 2 demons' names.
Yeah.
Like where Jillian, the fucking beanie girl, like that moment was beautiful. It was like a scene out of Naruto in the manga.
Yeah.
Goldie Pond didn't get adapted in the fucking anime though.
it felt like the series tried to become something it wasn't. I
Mhm.
never wanted Promised Neverland to become a shonen battle series. I wanted it to continue to being like a Death Note thing.
Yeah.
It felt like the early bits were Death Note, and then it became like very, I don't know, follow the leader, like India. It went from Death Note like mind gamey shit to like Indiana Jones like temple, like solve the weird.
It went from to put it in the words like you did earlier.
Like this thing in the corner of the room to
Right.
open a door that opens up a spike ball that you got to run away from. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it literally went to, like you said, it became like a Let's Play. It went from Death Note to Uncharted.
Yes, Uncharted is a perfect example. Yeah.
But the thing is with like that, like you just going back to like aesthetic, you have moments in Chainsaw Man where it is more aesthetic than it is like story substance, and it does it
aesthetic good.
Right, it does it well. Like you have the moments with like the fox demon and that blob thing in the fucking middle of the hotel. You have moments of like the bomb devil biting Dingy's fucking tongue off, where it's just like, oh, that's so fucking cool.
Dude,
and
weren't like fireworks going off when that happened?
Yeah, like you got that.
I remember that. You wanna know why I remember that? That shit sticks in my head because it's fucking gorgeous. And by the way, that even if his aesthetic was that good, but his characters were boring, it still would be a bad manga. But it's not. His aesthetic's great and his characters are great. And that's the thing. If you look at the plot itself is like I said, it's no like One Piece where there's like this big spanning world with like a government we have to overthrow. It's very, very, very character centric. You can. If you really want to simplify stories to bare bones, you can simplify most stories into two categories, at least in this particular set of categories, between character focused and plot, or character driven and plot driven, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plot driven is where what they're doing matters more. Character driven is where the characters themselves matter more than what they're doing. So like, and the best
one would be One Piece and one would be Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, I would argue, like I said, the best series combine both. I'd say One Piece is pretty close. Like on the spectrum, I would say One Piece is a little bit more plot driven than character driven, but that one's really close. But like let's put a couple more on that spectrum, right? Promised Neverland, even from the beginning, but especially when they leave Gracefield, is very plot driven. It's like, now we walk here, now we walk here, now we walk here. That's a series that has too much plot driven, not enough character driven. Chainsaw Man, I think, is mostly character driven with like a touch of plot here and there. And to me, I've found that like if you have to pick somewhere to be on that spectrum, the best is to be in the middle where both character and plot are good. But if you have a series that is all the way in character driven and the plot is whatever, but the characters are great, I'll still love it, right? Like if you like the characters, people will watch them do anything. This is why Slice of Life is popular.
Yeah.
If you like the characters, you will watch them fucking take a shit and brush their teeth.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I'd say another one that's like slap bang in the middle for me personally is Mission Yosakura Family, because
I am gonna try to read it for sure, man.
Because we had like 10 whole chapters of just slice of life of just like with the siblings and their interaction with each other, and it did start to get a little bit draggy, but then once the plot started to started to come in, and you realize like what all those chapters were building up to, that's what made it so great.
And, and like those slow down slice of life chapters make you care so much more about the characters. Yeah. I mean, Chainsawman did the same thing.
Yeah, and when you get in, like, because you have like the brother in Mission Yosakura Family who's like Illumi, and it's just like at the beginning he's like just this scumbag, but then once you start to get to know him and his personality and what he means to the family, you start to care about him more as a character.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
So, and I think another one that I would say started more like plot focus and then a little bit more character focus for a bit, and then went very much more plot focus would be Naruto. You know, because you had that giant fucking chunk.
As that became more plot focused, it got much less interesting.
Oh yeah. You had that giant chunk where like everything was about saving Sasuke and doing everything to protect the team. That was interesting. The second it went to like, we're just gonna play fucking darts on the fucking board of death during a war.
War. Yeah. So it's like, why do you care about a war in a series? It's not because of the, oh my god, the socio-political ramifications. It's like, no, because this character I love will die. right? And if you don't establish that as like a personal stakes thing, a series where it's like a group of 5 people and one of them might die tends to be more interesting than a series where it's 60 characters and it's a huge war. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just like in Hanako, there's probably like 7 or 8 characters that really matter. And like when one of them is like, "Hey, yo, I'm gonna sacrifice your best friend so that you can live," it's like, oh my god, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like, see, I'm just a little side tangent here. I've been, stuck at home, right, dealing with like the whole arm recovery, but like right before
you went to JFAC, so you definitely needed some.
Oh, I needed to get the fuck out of the apartment. But like right before I got injured, Kate had started watching Naruto, right? Like Kate had started watching Naruto for the first time. She never finished it. So I'm sitting there.
You warned her about how mid it gets.
Oh, I did. I said, so now on a scale of filler, because like she was an anime only for what? She was an anime only for One Piece, right? So I'm like, on a scale of filler, which is worse? And she's like, it's really eking towards Naruto being worse. But like she suffered through like the slow pacing of like early One Piece, and I'm like that sucks because I know the manga is so much better pace. But I remembered because I was anime only for Naruto for a giant chunk of time, and even I realized how bad the filler was. That's why I started reading the fucking manga, because I wanted to see the story to the end.
Like, you don't know what filler is, pick up on it. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, when you're going to a village that's power is fucking stars and crystals, and you're like, this isn't fucking jutsu, this is just padding. Yeah.
By the way, real quick, I'm about to make a grilled cheese sandwich, so if you hear like the noise of like it frying and shit and it's loud, just let me know and I'll mute.
All right.
I'm playing on Discord doing its thing, and it usually does, and getting rid of background noise. So
yeah, it's been doing really good with my fan because I still have it running.
Yeah, and by the way, I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
So like
you're leaving in a couple minutes, is that what I heard?
He'll be back in a couple minutes. I think he's going to go.
Okay.
Yeah. Considering we've been live for hour 16, but like the thing for me now, right?
Live?
We're not live, but like we're recording.
I guess I better not say the N-word then.
No PewDiePie word, please.
Slash sarcasm.
I'm gonna say it. I'm going to say the gamer word.
I can't believe some people are so sociopathic that they really can't read sarcasm. It's like wild. Like I make the joke that I can't read sarcasm, but like I'm starting to see like have you seen those tweets where it's like media literacy is literally dead, and like people will like point out like these scenes from certain things, or it's like yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the point. That's like the point of that scene.
Yeah. I really think like even so there just while Luke's doing what he's doing, there's a video on my hard drive where I was in a public match. I'm realizing now how much I'm having to edit that because
Are you saying gamer words?
No, like I don't really talk in public matches because I fucking hate doing that.
You were saying gamer words.
Yeah, so I'm like, how much of this is usable footage, and how much of it's just going to be the backdrop for a podcast to test because the community voted like try doing something in the back of the TV while you're doing like podcasts, or doing something more akin to like the live stream for the main channel. So I'm going to use that. I'm thinking about just using all that footage, cutting the fucking audio from that, and just letting that be like the backdrop, because it's good gameplay for that, for like a something other than like the static background. But I really don't want to extend loop of the bleep while somebody's rapping along to fucking Lil Wayne in the background.
Yeah, that's why I appreciate people like get mad that Nintendo doesn't have voice chat, but like honestly, I don't want it.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
I have returned and I just heard about rapping. Wait, what have you been talking about?
So, we were, Thurman, myself, his girlfriend, and a couple others were playing Fortnite.
Fucking, hold on. You should have said Thurman, my ex-girlfriend, his girlfriend, and me, but still only 3 people. How is that possible? It's like a riddle.
Uh. Oh man, isn't that a confusing timeline? No, but like, it was also one of her friends, and then like the public lobby itself is just like the most toxic cesspool of a fucking place. I'm like, no, 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 no. And then you gotta remember, like the primary audience for Fortnite is like 12-year-olds who have no sensibility of like, maybe don't say this word, you know?
Yeah.
That's too bad, man.
You ruined an hour and a half long recording. Oh, but like, so anyway, just cycling back to why I brought that up. I think that we're going to see a lot of that aspect here as well in part 2, because you're changing from a magazine that's like targeted at like 12 to 16-year-olds to the fact that this one is basically an all ages magazine, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I can't. It's crazy to imagine like Chainsawman getting darker. And I do wonder, right? Like, do you think he'll go darker, or do you think he'll try to subvert expectations and actually like lighten it up a bit?
I think. Go ahead, Luke.
Vex.
Go ahead, Luke. I've been talking for a while.
I think it might be a combination of both. Like,
yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Like, we might have a lot more light-hearted moments, because we might get more slice of lifey where it's just Denji and Naruto just hanging out with each other, because that was the whole thing about Makima, the control devil, is that she just wanted to be loved by someone, and that's what Denji is gonna try and give Naruto. So I feel like we're probably gonna get like an extension on the theater scene, but have it be more like we're gonna go watch some kiddie films.
Yeah. So remember.
Oh my god. Yeah. Well, I want your hot take on Despicable Me 3, Naruto.
Yeah.
Death to minions. Death to minions. Fuck minions. They're kill the little yellow fuzzball thingies. I'm so done with Despicable Me.
Minion devil.
I would only watch Despicable. I only really want to watch Despicable Me 3 for one reason and one reason only. Trey Parker.
Oh right, he's in it. That will be interesting.
He's the villain in it in Despicable Me 3.
That'll be interesting to have him not saying fuck, fuckity, fuck every 3 words. But no, I see.
It's that they choose like Eminem songs to promote those movies, isn't it?
Oh, God.
Like, that's weird, right?
I didn't even know that. You're right, because the fucking trailer for that was before Doctor Strange. You're right. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's always Eminem. Like, ever since the second one, I remember Despicable Me 2 was, now this looks like the job for me, so everybody. And then, yeah, the new one is also Eminem song.
And they also made a fucking NFT for Eminem where he's a minion.
Oh, tell me he didn't sign off on that.
He kind of just used it for a profile picture on Facebook. I know that.
No,
he also has a fucking Bored Ape on his Twitter. So yeah.
Oh no!
I don't know how much is his promotion team and how much is just him anymore.
It doesn't matter. If you're gonna do something like, he signed on, you have to sign off. They're gonna do shit like that. That means he's cringe.
Yeah. He doesn't have it as an NFT though on Twitter. He has it as like a regular profile picture. So he probably just screenshotted it. Because, on Twitter, if you upload an NFT, you get the octagon around it. It's not an octagon, so. Anyway, NFTs aside.
Alright. Fucking goddamn it. You'd think we'd be done talking about NFTs.
This is what, 4 podcasts?
This is what Controlled Chaos is all about, boys.
Yeah.
So
ended with Thurman, new best friend, Lasher Luke.
In all honesty, I was gonna sound a little bit sarcastic there, just then, but no. In all honesty, that actually does make me feel a lot of appreciation.
I got you, dude. I was just saying, like, you're fitting into the dynamic well.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Your
first
stage plan of being that guy that's always there to slowly become part of the channel.
It was never my intention, but no, seriously.
I've been a creepy TikToker fanboy of so many YouTube channels. I know.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
With you, by the way.
Yeah.
You've been very respectful.
Yeah, but I'm going to do a bit of roasting here. You guys have made me feel more appreciated and welcoming than a group that I actually pay to be a part of, and they never have me for anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can't pay for friendship. It never works out.
No.
I think he's referring to one of the play houses he's a part of, right?
Yeah, I am.
So a lot of those you do have to pay like membership to even join and potentially be a part of the play. I do remember that from when I was in drama.
Yeah, and it's basically like, you know how you guys have always joked about Promised Neverland turning into the Emma and Ray show. It's pretty much the exact same thing over there, to the point that I actually just went on a rant to one of the people in charge, like, hey, I do not like this. What's the point of me being part of this if I'm not gonna be any of the shows, and it's just gonna be the same people over and over again?
It's a very valid point too, you know. And the whole point of opening this up to like more people is because I realize like now that we're adults, we all have a very, very different lifestyle now. You and your partner, me being here, you know, Thurman and now his partner, you know, we have, it's been a lot of struggle.
Dad, my joke. I had a joke.
Go ahead.
You said, oh, we have a different lifestyle now that we're adults, and I was like, yeah, really different lifestyle. David's gay now.
You know.
Listen, David, you cannot deny that over the time I've known you, you've gone gayer and gayer.
Dude, okay, so we're an hour and 30 minutes, and I can say this. So, only one other person knows this, and now I'm admitting it on the internet. I have full-on dresses, skirts, and everything now. I went for...
Every time I show people that picture of me in the fucking cat girl skirt...
Yeah, I was gonna say...
There's there's a skit in my Google Drive I'm going to post on, or a little bit that I made for, like, a potential skit that I'll put up on the Kontrolled Khaos Twitter later, where I was jokingly being... it was cringe as fuck. It was cringe as fuck. I was jokingly being like a dominating, like fucking sassy Makima style character for a skit, and you signed off on like, oh fuck no, we're not using that, but it can be content on Twitter.
Yeah, you're not using that, but you'll use,
I'll put it on Twitter.
You're not using that, but you'll use the God damn it, Kishi.
Right? Like, he fucking ate my ass basically for a skit, but me being here sassy, no, we can't do that.
No, all I know is that my standard is, if it's funny, it'll go up. If it doesn't make me laugh, it won't. I don't care how cringe it is. I don't even remember what you're talking about, so I'd have to look at it again.
Oh, you'll see it. I'll dig it out of wherever the fuck it's at and put it up on Twitter. Might not be tonight because it's fucking 11 o'clock here, but yeah, it's hitting 3 over there.
You open up, now Luke's gonna be like, it's fucking 4 a.m. here, British.
I'm gonna what?
It's fucking 4 a.m. I'm fucking British.
It's 4 a.m.
I am not gonna say that because I have stayed up until 6 o'clock in the morning in the past.
Yo, dude.
Nice.
Dude. But here's the thing, like, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Go ahead, Red. Finish your bit.
I can make fun of being British all day, every day, but at least you guys can get abortions.
You know what? That's valid.
It's valid.
Like, here's the thing, like, with the skits coming back, like, we've talked about, I guess we could shoehorn this in, and you and I are going to have a longer discussion about this later. We're launching a second channel. We've talked about this a little bit. I talked about it a little bit on the Twitch side, and we, like, there's, bits and pieces of it, like, scattered throughout other content. Thurman and I did a video about, like, the splitting of content, like, this channel being more, like, media-centric in general, where it can be like this chaotic mess, and then that will be like the like 30-minute or less like manga review side over there, where it's all neat, and Red can have OCD land. I said Red can have OCD land where everything's nice and tidy, and there's not like that mess that this has become.
I just remember the things that like motivate me to create content content are where I feel like I'm creating something that can build into something. And when it becomes like hodgepodge, like anything, like, well, that's fun. I just didn't feel like it was gonna grow. I want to try to grow something, you know. So,
and that's a very valid thing. But what I want to add on to that is like it's not just going to be Chainsaw Man, right?
Of course, yeah, no. I think Chainsawman will be the main attraction, but I mean, we can talk about anything manga, anime over there.
Exactly. So I want to put the rest of that to ease because Thurman and I have like a full dialogue because you were having a 12-hour day when we filmed that video, but you said like you wanted it to be the Chainsaw Man channel. So I want to clear the air there.
What I meant by that was like I don't know. Maybe I misspoke, but you know what? I think you know what I meant. Like,
yeah, I'm like I said. I figure we'll have like the One Piece discussions, the Black Clover, if we want to bring that back, stuff like that over there as well. Where we can just talk about manga centric things. I also announced, and I know this is the more controversial side of it, that I'm retiring from manga centric content after Chainsaw Man wraps up. And I put like a twit longer up and everything, like breaking down like my thoughts of that. What I'm going to say is I will always hop in when I'm needed. I'm not going to retire completely from it. I'm retiring from like doing it full time, where like that is my main focus because I have a lot more enjoyment over covering a lot more of the broad topics where we can focus on comics and video games and doing let's plays and stuff like that we've been doing. And I'm still over here editing now that I'm a little more healed, stuff that we had filmed before the crash. Where we can try more experimental content. I have more fun doing all that broad topic stuff like that. But I'm never going to not talk about manga and anime because it's something that I very much enjoy. And wrapping all of that up into a nice little bow because we're hitting an hour and 30 minutes. And I know a lot of us want to have like the more business side talk and all that. I do want to also say we are bringing the skits back. I talked about this on the Chainsaw Man subreddit as well. I did get warnings from the mods over there like, hey, we don't recognize you, yada, 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 you know, what's the promotion? And I'm like, here's what we did. Probably remember us from this, link the Hentai Devil skit to them. And it's like, yeah. Anyway, I really want to expand on the Hentai Devil lore. I really want to focus on like that Reader Repulsa skit while we're getting ready. Where I'm rising from the grave as the Hentai Devil, kind of focusing in on that. The Future Devil will hopefully make a return. Little bits and pieces of that, because the skits for Chainsaw Man.
We're gonna do our little Avengers Endgame, like bring all of our Chainsaw Man lore together.
Right, because that is so much fucking fun.
I'm bringing in Andrew is gonna be the capitalism devil. That's happening. I don't give a fuck.
Right, like, see, like these skits, right? I know we don't do them as often as we wanted to when we promised we would do them, but these skits are some of the most fun I have making content because they're so batshit insane. Because we can do whatever the fuck we want with them because there's no, at least in the land of Fujimoto, there's no bearing on what reality is because these devils are eldritch deities basically where they can manipulate reality. They can wipe things from existence. They predict the future. They sit out here.
The more succinct way to say this is it really channels and fuels our creativity, the Fujimoto's world, you know. And yeah, and I'm glad that you clarified about the retiring there, David, because even I was kind of confused about that because I like the idea that like so it's more like
I don't want to do this.
Like the only thing that you're going to be like week to week on a schedule is Chainsaw Man. But other than that, like there's something that's like, oh, I want to talk about this Bleach episode. You'll hop on and do a video.
Exactly. Like awesome. I don't want to do manga full time because there is severe burnout covering the same topic over and over and over again.
Yeah, it really only works if you love a series that much. Yeah.
Yep. And Chainsaw Man, I do. Black Clover, there's chapters I'm like, there's nothing to fucking talk about. One Piece, there's chapters like, there's nothing to talk about, you know, and that's, you know, that's the thing, like, when you're trying to force, I don't think the audience itself realizes, like, when you're trying to force content, it comes off as cringe, right? To them, they want to consume, like, something like a chibi review, for example, where he'll talk about any little tiny thing, or Tekken will make 3 fucking videos out of 1 chapter, basically, you know.
That's impressive. That's impressive how he can do that.
He's done it out of 4 of the latest chapter.
Right,
just to get to the point of like, how did Boogie become a yonko?
Bro, that's actually, I'm interested in that. I'll be honest.
Right.
That's one of the, dude, that was my favorite part of last chapter, Loki. Like, I'm fucking so hyped to see what inane bullshit happened.
I didn't like it. I did not like it.
I disagree entirely. One Piece is One Piece because of the fact that it doesn't take itself that seriously. Like, remember the fucking the buggy shit has been hard. Like, that's been a meme since like fucking Impel Down, that he's a very lucky dude. You know what I mean? And remember that like the Yonko, it's not a power system. We're not talking like Super Saiyan 3. This is like a political thing.
Oh yeah, I get that. I just find it's gone way too far with the joke.
Not me. For me, you can never go far enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I understand why. I get it. But to me, those meaningless like Yonko, Warlord, Admiral, these ranks mean nothing. Like to me, like you can call anyone anything, but like I judge a character by when I see them, right?
Right.
It's just like how, like right now, Kid, Law, and Luffy all have the same fucking bounty, but Luffy would like solo them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it doesn't really mean much. Like, so I don't worry about it. And I'll be honest, at least with the buggy thing, I'm gonna trust in Oda because I feel like he's gonna find a way to make it make sense. Because keep in mind, I'm almost done with this, I promise. The Yonko, it's more of a status thing than like like how much. It's not like a power. It's not power levels from DBZ. So what I think you might have a thing where like he actually like joined forces with Shanks, or he has like. Some people said like, what if like somehow Mihawk is like on his crew just like as like a meme, like I'll just hang with you for a while as like a cover, you know, I don't know. But like what I think is somehow, because the reason he became a warlord in the first place is because he had crazy strong underlings. Remember, he saved all of those people from like the deepest level of Impel Down, so he had underlings that were like actually threats. So to me, I think Oda could make it actually make sense if we cut over to Mihawk and somehow he's got like maybe Shanks is trolling. Like maybe Shanks is like, hey, in order to save your ass, but because you're my friend, Buggy, I'll say that I'm working for you now or something. You know, like you could do anything, like, and it could make sense. So just like, so wait, I would say for you, just wait for the explanation. Wait until he gets to like what Buggy did, and then make your judgment. Like,
okay, fair enough.
The thing is, if it's stupid, I'll agree with you. I'll be like, all right. If there's no valid reason, then I'll be on your side. But I think that there's going to be like a funny and like valid reason.
Okay, I'll accept that.
All right.
Here, just to kind of tie and wrap this video up, because it's been a little bit all over the place, even though we wanted to be a little more. Welcome to Control Chaos. If this is your first experience. I tried to keep it on track, but I derailed it, brought it back, Red derailed it.
I'm always the one that tries to keep it on track. Don't take that from me.
Well, you weren't here at the beginning, bitch. But like, here's the thing, right? Now with the Fujimoto expanded universe, I'm going to continue doing. I think what we're going to do now, right? From channel 2, from Chaos Squared. I'm going to announce the name here. And we'll talk more about it when we do, like, our solo video launching it and everything. And we can prepare that today if you want. Since we're both awake still at fucking 11 o'clock at night.
We can do that tomorrow if you want. I think we all want to probably check in soon.
Yeah, so the thing with, like, Chaos Squared is we're going to focus down on, at least at the beginning, Chainsaw Man the anime and Chainsaw Man Part 2. What I will say is, the series that you love and that we find a place for on that second channel will turn over to the on the main channel. We'll turn over to the second channel, right? So if Dr. Stone Part 2 comes out, now that we have the Ryusei part chapter coming out for the special, and the tease that we might get a Part 2 of that, the Bleach 1000 Year Blood War anime, stuff like that will be on Chaos Squared.
Everything anime and manga will be over there, and that's where we're going to put the skits as well. It's going to be more focused, like organized, yada yada yada.
I think you and I need to do one thing on Chaos Square that you weren't planning about, though, Red.
Well, we'll see.
I want a Red's First Impression series on there.
Oh, I like that.
And I want it to start with fucking Mission Yozakura family.
Of course it's gonna. Of course you're gonna say that.
Well, that's how he's gonna get me to do it. He's appealing to my ego.
I'm teasing the ego and making it content. That's how I know I'll fucking get it out of him.
Well then, you know what needs to happen.
I will do a Vex's first impression on Hanako if you do Yosfam.
Yeah. Well, what would Furman's first impression be then?
I want to make a joke right now, but I can't because it's already happened. I was going to say he loses fucking virginity, but
Thurman is welcome on there anytime he wants, but it's harder. It's very hard to get him available recently. So like,
look to Radiant Black for an example. I look to Radiant Black. It's a week and a half late now.
Yeah, I mean, like, we made this joke for years, but I think it finally is prevalent and real enough to, like, say. He always said that we would be the ones that would get pussy and then never talk to him, but the second he got pussy, I'm just saying.
That's a little bit not the case, because he did want to film while I was still...
I'm joking, you know that.
Oh, I know, but I'm just clearing the air here before somebody's like, oh, YouTube drama. No, he did want to film while he was here, but I was in no shape to film because I was so hopped up on painkillers from the outbreak.
I totally understand it. I did the same shit, man. Like, once you start, like, I don't want to say start a family, but you know what I mean? Like, once you kind of get in that, like, mindset, it's harder to make time.
Exactly, and I go through that, like, early on in every relationship as well, as I want to focus on that and do everything to make my partner happy, and then I will come back to my hobbies, you know, and that's a very valid thing because you want to make sure there's a foundation there to build a relationship on. If not, fuck off. And I am the king of fucking off.
David, I really do think you are my, like, example of the fact that, like, some people in life are just better off.
I am quite literally angel dust. I'm quite literally angel dust.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I also do want to add one other thing to Chaos Squared, and that is talking about Hell of a Boss when it comes back, because that's technically anime, but it's not anime, you know.
I don't care. I'll talk about it. Absolutely. Basically, like, we can just look at that as like the organized.
But we're talking about a specific series and reviewing it channel, and then
something that's like a reoccurring thing where it's like, oh, this is the next episode of this, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And the same rule will apply to the second channel, I'm assuming. That apply to the main channel, is if we lose interest in a series, we will drop it. We will not force ourselves to make content out of it. Yeah.
For sure.
So if something turns into like a new generation Promised Neverland, we are not going to make 17,000 videos saying, this is shit! We're just going to be like, and it's gone. You know? And then if a series ends...
I do want to try to bring back the, as far as I can do, I want to bring back the try to make a skit for every video rule. But that means, you know, I'm thinking 3 videos a week, like max.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We're not going to turn it into like when Rooster Teeth launched Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth launched Squad Team Force and all this other bullshit. We're not going to fucking do that where there's 17,000 different channels. And
you see what that does to a YouTube channel. It burns out people.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say real quick, though, is like what's great about that format is that like 2 to 3 videos a week means you'll have your constant will be Chainsawman. That will be the weekly. And then the next video or 2 will be whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. You know what I mean? I like that.
Yeah. And if we end up
really, yeah, I am gonna try. It's for all of them to have a skit. That is my goal.
And
it can be simple. Remember Anya in the house? Anya in the house. It can be simple. It can do whatever, but all of them must have a skit.
I gotta find my fucking tripod. I gotta do that. I have no idea where in my new apartment that is at. So yeah. So if we want to bring back like the skits, I gotta find that or buy another one. Anyway. Wrapping this up. So with that kind of clarified, and we'll talk more in detail about that in a short, succinct video on both the second channel and the main channel.
I will make, what was I gonna say? I'll make the thumbnail and description for this one. I got some good ideas about.
Yeah, I got the metadata already for it in the mod chat, so you know, like the tags.
And yeah, when it comes to announcing the second channel officially, I'll do like an edited thing and like I'll post on Chainsawman Reddit as well and be like, hey. We used to review over here. It's going to be over here now. If you liked our stuff, yada, yada. I'll do that as well. And then my own little, like, edited professional way.
Yep. I just put up, like, the second it got announced, like, hey, here's the things, you know, we'll be doing it, you know. I got a bunch of upvotes, and then downvoted because it was self-promotion without, you know, a lot of karma.
I was like, maybe we shouldn't...
Yeah. Well, I mean, I expected it to get a little moderator backlash because I don't use Reddit other than stealing porn.
Right, but let's not. I don't want to get like a bad impression. I was a little worried when I saw it too because I don't want to have like feel like those guys that like whoring themselves out. Like, please watch us, you know.
Right. So I'll let you handle that promotion. I don't want to be the only one.
Like, I'm sure you didn't do anything wrong, but you know how it can be.
Oh yeah, Reddit can be one of two ways. It can either be because I remember like during that they were like, yeah, we watched Control Chaos, you know. They bring like all the wackiness, you know.
You got to remember that that's probably like one or two people on there, and then when you post it to everyone, most people are gonna have no idea who we are. So
exactly.
The people that know us will be like, oh, but like most people will be like,
exactly. It was the same thing with like trying to interact with the Promised Neverland subreddit, and you know it turned into a giant fucking shit show. But yeah, so the final thoughts for this. I'm super hyped for this to come back. I really do want to bring back those skits and focus down on those. While the anime and the manga are running concurrently, we'll be focusing on both of those and then one other video, I'm assuming. So we're not burning ourselves out. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I would say. Sorry, I'm eating. I would say we don't have to always focus like we don't. I wouldn't like mandate an anime video like you know because it is content we've seen before. I would say anime video if something about that adaptation specifically blows us away. You know what I mean? Or if it's like different in a meaningful way, and we're like, oh whoa, you know what I mean? But if it's the
we'll
same
talk
thing,
about episode 5. Okay.
Right, how many times can you just say, oh my god, that was adapted so well, oh my god, that was animated so well? I would say only anime video if it's like something that we really want to talk about.
Right, okay, so I had thought we were going to talk about them concurrently. Okay, so glad we cleared that up before I went further on this point.
Like, I can see why you think that, but then like actually think about it though. Like how much can you really say? Because it's plot we've talked about before. It would just be like, that was animated well. Anyway, you know.
Right, I mean, we started at chapter 20 because we played by the rule of 20.
Oh, you know.
But, you know, so we covered like 77 chapters of this series.
Which means 5 or 7 episodes in, it'd be the shit we've already talked about.
Right. So we could talk about like the early ones or you know, just the adaptation overall when it wraps up. It'll all depend, I guess. So
yeah, again, if we have stuff to talk about with that.
Right. The other thing that I really want to cover on there is talking about the Goodbye Eri one shot and the other Fujimoto one shot if they
Yeah, that can be some good first videos once we get that set up. David, tomorrow I'll call you for like maybe an hour and we can like really finalize the setup of that channel. And yada yada.
Yeah. So.
But anyway, I also want to say I'm very excited about doing this. You know, in like a very meta way, I'll say my relationship with David is at its best when we're making content together. It's interesting. Like you go through like some people, you're good just like being friends and hanging out. With David and I, we are at our best when we're creating together. Like that's kind of our relationship. And so like already like I'm getting super excited to like hang with David again because I like making stuff with him. He's a very fun and creative partner, I will say, and I'm very excited to get back to that.
Absolutely, like, and that's.
I called you David. You know what I mean, Vex. I'm getting there.
Yeah, you're getting better. The biggest thing for me though, Red, and this also extends to Luke because I feel that same energy with Luke as well, especially here on the main channel, because you two pull out a very, very good side of me for making content. Because Luke and I talk for the good, like, first 30 minutes of this video, just theory crafting and figuring out where the hell shit's going to be. And you and I, Red, once we started bringing skits into this, you pulled out the theater kid in me, which is something I fucking missed. Because I loved being in drama and everything in college, and being in drama even in, like, middle school, fucking being Romeo, for God's sake. Which was the most cringe thing because I was Romeo and there was a girl that I absolutely fucking hated for Juliet.
Oh my word, that's the worst. That's the worst.
I'm like, this is a chick that kicked me in the dick with a pair of spiked heels, and I gotta have a scene with her. Great, fantastic, thanks.
Yeah,
but like,
sorry,
but that also awoke something in me. But.
On a very good. He's a very good actor to direct because he has almost no line or no red lines. Like you can make him do basically anything.
Right, like you can just point me a direction and tell me to do something, and I will fucking do it. I am a whore for content, you know, and that's the thing. Like when you're when you have that direction in like improv and like, okay, I want you to. These are the three things I want you to do in this. I want you to sit on the shitter, play Mario, and act like you're wiping your ass with everything that has story substance. Or I want you to put a volume of Naruto and Boruto in your ass cheeks of your leggings, and I'm just gonna fucking motorboat that for 30 seconds while I look longingly at the camera. You know, stuff like that is so.
Fujimoto, bro.
Like that's so. When you can direct somebody like that, that's a gold relationship for content. You know,
Yeah,
and you do not have that with somebody.
Just to toot my own horn, I would love your thoughts on this. Like, allow me this. I think I have a touch of talent for directing. I don't really enjoy doing it.
You do. But the big point I was getting at is like you can take any fuckwit off the street and it will not have as much of an impact as if you already have a pre-established relationship with that person when it comes to directing somebody like that. You have to learn how a person interacts with that kind of reality. You have to be able to suspend the fact that like this is a bit you're doing. This is not real life. This is not anything like that. But you also have to have a connection with that person and be like, okay, do you trust me to do this? Because some of the shit that we've done for skits is arguably very fucking borderline mental, you know?
Didn't we use like a real knife to fake stab you and I had to like do it in slow motion?
Yes, you also shot me with a actual firearm that was unloaded for a skit.
That was your idea. You know I was uncomfortable with using
I'm like,
gun. You were like, unloaded.
It's unloaded. I popped the one out of the chamber right there before we did it. Now we have a prop gun, so we don't have to worry about that.
I had you check like 3 times to make
You're
sure.
like, make sure there's a bullet. I'm like, well, also it doesn't fire when the clip's not in, so you're perfectly safe. But here, you see, no bullet, nothing, you know. But we have done some mental things. You have to have the utmost trust in your partner for a scene. You know, and that is something a lot of people that attempt this do not realize. That's why a lot of people get hurt. That's why there's a do not try this at home screen before a WWE event. There's a don't try this at home before Jackass because they realize that people are going to react to this. And the reason I'm bringing this up is a couple months ago, I was listening to a podcast, and I'm going to make this make a lot of sense here. There prank channels being back on the rise on YouTube. There was a dude that actually got fucking shot in the face because he tried to use a random citizen for a bit.
Yeah, you cannot make the world into your content.
Right.
Oh.
So when we, for example, go out to a park, we want to make sure
Oh my god, we're so careful. We're so careful. When we did that the tennis one, we waited until it was like a kind of rainy day so that like there was no one around. I remember because we were worried that the camera was gonna get rained on. It was like on and off rain.
Right.
And we were specifically like, all right, now because there'll be no one in this park. And we don't gotta cringe out anyone. We don't gotta embarrass anyone. Like we hate when people are around. We want it to be abandoned.
Right. So we like when we did the skit that got corrupted. That was going to be like that long project that we were working on to announce like Chimera, our mascot. Like we made sure that there was nobody around because I had, even though it's legal here, we were on park grounds around potential people. And I'm over here smoking a blunt for this bit, you know.
I remember you wanted to bring in a gun, and I was like, absolutely not.
And I'm glad you stopped me from that because the cops ended up showing up later. But for other reasons, because of the loudness of like the party that was over on the other side of that. So I'm over here smoking a blunt. We also have all of this cringe equipment floating around where I got like a light ring and everything, and we're filming this, we're slow motion walking this. I'm over here like, we need to overthrow the pole, everyone, you know, kind of thing. I'm just like, this is like,
yeah, because that was like right after that was around the time Trump was doing his Trumpy stuff, and we were making fun of like you know, this is wrong, the election's wrong,
yeah, and also like peak COVID at the same time. So you had like. Yeah, we were also like masked up. We were dealing with like the fact that there was curfews and everything still. at that point.
That was we were really stupid back then. Like as a country, we thought we were masked in the middle of a park in the middle of the woods around no one. We still wear masks. I was like, all right, this is weird.
Yeah, but also you and I traveling together and everything made sense.
That's true. Yeah, we were like extra careful back then.
Yeah, but like we're doing that, and then now tying this into this, like there are two skits that I really foresee being potential for Chaos Squared, and why I brought this up, and I want to be super careful doing this. I want to have the Katana Devil for when that gets adapted make an appearance, and I want to have the Fox Devil, but portrayed by Shion.
Oh my god.
So I won't be really.
We just gotta make sure we don't slice your cat in half as we're going this.
Well, they're going to be two separate skits, but I want to have them in some capacity involved in this, because Shion has been a cornerstone of content the entire time I've been focusing on Twitch. I want her to be a part of like the main channel, and the second channel as well. But the reason I brought Luke up in this is I want to involve a British devil.
Of course I have to be the British devil there.
The fear of the British. Yeah.
The fear of the British, mocking America, specifically mocking America, while you have your tea and your crumpets.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, wait. I have a better idea. Okay. All right. Wait. What do people fear? I feel like, all right, British, do people really fear that? Maybe a little. What do people actually fear? It was like a whole political catastrophe. The Brexit devil.
Well, I was Remain.
Yo, I know. But you could jokingly play like one of the douchebags that wanted to leave or something.
So I have to be. I've got the perfect douchebag who sounds like this.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure. Once I like, I'm a very like, I don't want to force stuff. As long if I can think of an idea that works for it, you're our first for British stuff.
As long as it doesn't involve alcohol and smoking, fair game.
No,
yep. What you don't want to? Never mind. Yeah. I will be the sole one to consume any alcohol in this content. I am on record as the alcoholic, so I'll play the alcoholic roles.
Look, I have so many like skit ideas. Like if we were still doing One Piece reviews, like skit ideas, because I'm disappointed with how it felt like the Kaido, like the finishing of Kaido was kind of like weak. I have a lot of like I have ideas that I want to do where like the big bad like alternate reality fucking World War II where it's like they just like all right. Hitler, you gotta stop right now. It's getting a little too crazy. Like, you know what? You're right. It's like, wow, it felt really easy. I could have sworn there was gonna be like a whole act 2 and 3 to this.
Oh God.
Yeah, man. The Kaido, it was weird. I don't know how Oda did it. It was simultaneously like the longest fight in One Piece, but like did not feel earned. It was very strange. But either way. Yeah. Can we wrap this up?
Yeah.
So the last thing for you, Red, is when we have that first skit, for that channel, it's gonna be just like We're Coming Home. So I hope the last point I want to have is like I hope everyone joins us over on Chaos Squared, because with Chainsawman being back, everything's gonna be crazy, and I don't think some of you are expecting what I have planned for some of that too. So I'm guessing that's a piece for me.
Yeah. Now just remember though to toot my own ego horn, because Chaos Squared is the red managed channel. It does have to pass my green light.
Oh, what I have planned will pass the red green light. Trust me.
Okay.
Piece from you.
Yeah, piece from me. We'll definitely put the link to Chaos Squared because there's no videos on it yet, but you can subscribe, right?
You should be able to, as long as you can grab that URL.
Yeah, so we'll put the link to it in this video, and then later I'll edit like an actual traditional like big like, hey, manga stuff's moving over here, and then we'll upload that at some point in the next video.
And then we'll also get art and everything started commissioning as goes along.
We might have to move on from Utena. I think she's too big now. We might have to find someone else.
We might have to. So if you know an artist, DM us on Twitter.
Trying to think who I could. Oh, maybe I could get. I wonder how Allie would be if she'd be able to make a good banner for us. I don't know.
Allie or
I
Catherine,
could get
maybe.
her. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I'll message Utena and be like, hey, are you still down to do commissions for us, or are you too busy? I'll shoot her a message.
All right, sounds good. So we'll see you in a little bit there.
Peace out, everybody. David,
Peace.
call me tomorrow, and we can talk for like an hour or
Yep,
something
yep.
to set up some shit.
Sounds good.
Right, peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Good talking to you,